My name is Catherine Bleish, and I get my news from Free Keene. I actually get a lot of activist tips from there, and I take them home and utilize them in Missouri.
Hi, this is Terry Lupo. Welcome to Low Country Liberty Report. As you can see, no more hat. I believe I have hit my goal of 10 people going to Liberty Forum. I hope you are too. Now, I had a chance to meet this fella, John Bush, at Campaign for Liberty this weekend, and I really liked him. He was a stand-up fella. I'm going to be discussing his interview he got with Ron Paul. But first, let's start with Ron Paul, because I think Ron Paul he's kind of the gateway drug for liberty. He's an introduction a lot of people get, and kind of the first time they hear something different. And I love what he's been doing. But he's not perfect. He is a politician, and unfortunately, as the saying goes, you're never going to agree with a politician 100% unless you run yourself. So, you know, there are some things he's done I've definitely disagreed with. But just because he's done so much good for liberty, he shouldn't necessarily get a free pass when he does something anti-liberty. And he needs to be called to the carpet. This talk show host, John Bush, did a little ambush reporting, basically, and got this clip here that you're going to see in a minute. So I'm going to let the interview explain itself.
I'm here with John Bush, radio show host, and John, could you give me an idea? You just got an interview with Ron Paul at the C4L in Atlanta. What happened?
Well, on December 30th, Ron Paul sent me and some Ron Paul supporters in Austin, around the Austin area, a email asking us to support Lamar Smith. So this immediately rose a suspicion in my mind, because Lamar Smith is not only a 22-year incumbent, but he also voted for the bailout, not once, but twice. He voted for it the first time around with the Democrats. Not only that, but he supports, the Patriot Act, the war in Iraq. He's a neocon. So it's interesting for Ron Paul to be asking for me to support this gentleman, especially when you couple it with the fact that there's a genuine Ron Paul Republican candidate that's running, Stephen Shoppey, in that same seat, Congressional District 21. And this guy, Stephen Shoppey, he busted his behind for Ron Paul during the campaign. So it's kind of like a backstab. But not only that, I mean, it's furthering the status quo entirely, and it's exactly everything that Ron Paul preaches against. So here at the Atlanta Campaign for Liberty conference, he was shaking some hands, doing some autographs after he spoke, and I had the opportunity to ask him to give us a statement to kind of shine a little bit of light on why he asked us to support a 22-year incumbent, two-time bailout voter, and supporter of the war in Iraq and the Patriot Act.
No, get somebody to take it.
Hey, I just want a quick statement on why you're encouraging your supporters to support Lamar Smith, 22-year incumbent, two-time bailout voter, voted for the war in Iraq.
Because I have made an agreement that I would support the incumbents of Texas, Republican incumbents in Texas. I'm in the Republican Party. I am the most independent Republican in Congress, but there's a limit to how much independence that you can get away with.
Okay. Thank you.
That's it.
Have a good one.
Okay.
What was his answer?
Well, he said that he had made an agreement to support all the Republican incumbents in Texas. And while he's the most independent Republican in the GOP, there's only a certain amount of independence that you can have, which completely flies in the face of libertarian ideology altogether. There's no limit to independence. You're 100% free, but unfortunately, what I see about it is whenever the libertarian movement or the freedom movement tries to conflate itself with conservatism, unfortunately what we get is exactly that. Whenever it tries to go into the GOP in order to enact change, what we get is individuals having to make deals and having to waver on their principles in many instances. And unfortunately, while we may think we'll be able to shape the GOP, it's my opinion that the GOP will shape us more than we're able to shape them. And we see the same thing happening with Rand Paul already. Ron Paul's son is okay with the war in Afghanistan. He would have voted favorably for a war in Afghanistan and sent special forces in there too. Who knows what he's going to say about Yemen or a further invasion of Pakistan or Iran. It's just unfortunate, and that's one of the first things that goes once you start conflating yourself with the GOP. It's the anti-war and anti-imperial stance. Not only is it difficult to move forward if you're going to be constantly bashing that, trying to make buddies, but a lot of people put that kind of rhetoric away when they're making a speech trying to move up in the GOP system, and eventually it just gets tucked away and goes away.
This story kind of already hit the internet pretty much right after it happened, and it's already getting chatter. What is the chatter you're hearing already?
Well, some of the people are, I call them apologists for Ron Paul. Unfortunately, there seems to be a lot of idol worship. I think the responsibility of the power lies within ourselves and within our local movements, local groups. But there's a lot of people that are saying, well, this is just politically expedient. He's got to endorse Republicans or he'll lose one of his chairs in one of the finance committees. And I think that's a lot of hogwash. I think the political game, in the end, is really going to hurt us and hurt the power of the message. And then there's a lot of people that are downright upset and say, this is a total farce. There was a lot of chatter down in Austin after he endorsed Lamar Smith, and we all got the email, and that's why I was clarifying it. There's also a lot of chatter last year when he endorsed Michael McCall, who's also a neocon. So it's unfortunate that he's going around endorsing some very lame candidates down in my neck of the woods. But the people, so far, it's almost been split. Some people are defending him because, I believe in some people's eyes it's difficult to really think that, wow, Ron Paul is now selling us down the river, just like every other politician. Kind of hurts people's, hurts them deep inside. It's difficult to accept that. But a lot of people are finally, they've seen there's been a long train of abuses from the Ron Paul machine, the central machine, abusing local movements. And the RNC delegates, there was a betrayal there. And a lot of stuff just really went sour and nasty as far as support from the central campaign to the local grassroots and whatnot. I'm sure many activists are aware of what that happening. So here we go. We see it again happening, unfortunately, and really seems like Ron Paul's radical edges are being softened. And again, it's my opinion that that's what happens whenever you go into the GOP and try to restore it. So it's unfortunate.
So I'd love to hear your opinion about this in the comments section. Also, you can find John and Catherine's show. The details are in the link on the Rule of Law Radio. As always, is Terry and Lupo. Good hunting.
This program is brought to you by FreeKeen.com. FreeKeen.com features audio, video,